Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Mark, and this is English Unleashed for All. Today, I want to share something with you that could transform how you think about success, happiness, and living a meaningful life. Let me ask you something. Do you ever feel busy but not productive? Do you work hard but feel like you're not making progress on what really matters? Do you have goals and dreams but never seem to find time for them? Do you feel pulled in too many directions, trying to please everyone, and ending up exhausted? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then today's episode will change everything for you. Today, I'm going to tell you about a book that teaches a powerful philosophy. A philosophy about time, energy, and what you choose to do with your life. A book that will help you stop wasting time on things that don't matter and start investing in things that do. The book is called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was written by Stephen Covey in 1989. Stephen Covey was a teacher, a business consultant, and a leadership expert. He studied successful people for many years. He wanted to understand what made them effective, what made them achieve their goals while living balanced, meaningful lives. And he discovered 7 habits that these people all share. Now, the original book is quite long and uses business language that can be difficult. But today, I will make it simple for you. I will explain all 7 habits in slow, clear English. I will use everyday examples. I will show you exactly how to apply these habits starting today. By the end of this episode, you will understand what effectiveness really means. You will know the 7 habits that can transform your life. You will have practical strategies to become more productive, more balanced, and more successful. These habits will help you in your career, your relationships, your personal growth, and every area of your life. So stay with me. Listen carefully. This information is powerful. This information has helped millions of people, and it will help you too. Let's begin. Stephen Covey starts by explaining what effectiveness means. Most people think effectiveness means getting a lot done, being busy, checking off tasks. But Covey says true effectiveness is different. True effectiveness means achieving what matters most while maintaining the relationships and resources you need for long-term success. He uses a story to explain this. Imagine a farmer who has a goose that lays golden eggs. Every day, the goose lays 1 golden egg. The farmer sells the eggs and makes good money. But the farmer gets greedy. He thinks, why wait for 1 egg per day? I'll kill the goose and get all the eggs at once. So, he kills the goose. But when he opens it up, there are no eggs inside. Now, he has no goose and no golden egg. He destroyed his source of wealth. This is what many people do in life. They focus only on the golden eggs, the immediate results, and they neglect the goose, the relationships, health, and resources that produce those results. They work so hard they damage their health. They achieve career success, but destroy their family. They make money but lose their integrity. They get short-term results but long-term failure. Covey says, effective people maintain both. They get results, and they maintain their capacity to produce results. They take care of the goose while collecting the golden eggs. This is true effectiveness. And the 7 habits help you achieve this balance. The 7 habits are divided into 3 categories. Habits 1, 2, and 3 are about private victory. Private victory means mastering yourself, becoming independent, taking control of your own life. Habits 4, 5, and 6 are about public victory. Public victory means working effectively with others, building relationships, achieving together. Habit 7 is about renewal, maintaining and improving yourself continuously. Let's start with habit 1. Be proactive. This is the foundation of all the other habits. Being proactive means taking responsibility for your life. It means recognizing that you always have the power to choose your response to any situation. Most people are reactive. Reactive means they let circumstances control them. When something bad happens, they blame others. They blame the weather, their boss, their family, the economy, their past. They say things like, "There's nothing I can do. That's just how I am. They made me angry. I had no choice." Reactive people give away their power. They let external things control their feelings and actions. But proactive people are different. Proactive people recognize that between what happens to them and how they respond, there is a space, a gap. And in that gap is their power to choose. Something bad happens, they choose how to respond. Someone treats them badly, they choose whether to be upset or to stay calm. They lose their job, they choose whether to be defeated or to see it as an opportunity. Stephen Covey teaches that proactive people focus on their circle of influence, not their circle of concern. Your circle of concern includes everything you care about, everything that affects you. World problems, the economy, other people's behavior, the weather, the past. Many of these things you cannot control. When you focus on your circle of concern, you feel worried, anxious, helpless. You waste energy on things you cannot change. But your circle of influence includes things you can actually do something about. Your own behavior, your attitude, your choices, your work, your relationships. When you focus on your circle of influence, you feel empowered. You take action. You make changes. And something amazing happens. When you focus on what you can control, your circle of influence grows. You become more capable. You gain more influence. But when you focus on what you can't control, your circle of influence shrinks. Let me give you an example. Imagine it's raining and you have to go to work. A reactive person says, "This weather is terrible. It ruined my day. I'm going to be miserable." They focus on the weather, which they cannot control. They give the weather power over their mood. A proactive person says, "It's raining. I'll bring an umbrella. I'll leave earlier to avoid traffic. I'll stay positive." They focus on their response, which they can control. They keep their power. Another example. Your boss criticizes your work unfairly. A reactive person gets angry, complains to coworkers, feels like a victim. They let the boss's behavior control their emotions. A proactive person thinks that criticism was unfair. But how can I respond constructively? They might calmly discuss it with the boss. They might document their work better. They might focus on doing excellent work, regardless. They choose their response. Being proactive also means using proactive language. Reactive people say, "I can't. I have to. If only there's nothing I can do." Proactive people say, "I choose to, I prefer, I will. Let's look at our options." The language you use shapes your mindset. Change your language, change your thinking. Covey says, look at your problems, the ones you worry about most. Ask yourself, can I do anything about this? If yes, do it. Take action. If no, accept it and stop worrying. This simple question transforms your life. You stop wasting energy on things you cannot control and focus all your energy on things you can control. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. This means knowing where you're going before you start moving. Most people are busy but directionless. They work hard but don't know what they're working toward. They climb the ladder of success only to discover it's leaning against the wrong wall. Stephen Covey says you must define what success means to you. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want to achieve? What kind of person do you want to be? What do you want people to say about you at your funeral? These questions help you clarify your destination. Covey teaches a powerful exercise. Imagine your own funeral. I know this sounds sad, but stay with me. Imagine it's several years from now. Your family, friends, and coworkers are there. 4 people give speeches. 1 family member. 1 friend. 1 colleague. 1 from your community. What do you want them to say about you? What impact did you have on their lives? What will you be remembered for? This exercise forces you to think about what truly matters. Most people realize they want to be remembered for being loving, kind, helpful, honest, someone who made a difference. Not for working long hours or buying expensive things. Not for being busy, but for being meaningful. Once you know what truly matters, you can create a personal mission statement. A mission statement is a clear declaration of your values and your purpose. It answers the question, what am I about? What do I stand for? What am I trying to achieve with my life? For example, your mission statement might be, I will be a loving parent who is present and supportive. I will be a person of integrity who keeps my word. I will continuously learn and grow. I will contribute to my community. I will maintain my health so I can serve others long term. This becomes your constitution, your personal law. When you face decisions, you ask, does this align with my mission? If yes, do it. If no, don't do it. Your mission statement guides every choice. Beginning with the end in mind also applies to specific projects. Before you start any task or project, visualize the outcome. What does success look like? What are you trying to achieve? If you're writing a report, visualize the finished report. What will it contain? How will it be organized? What impact will it have? Then work backward to create it. If you're having a difficult conversation, visualize the outcome. What do you want the relationship to look like after? What understanding do you want to reach? Then plan the conversation to achieve that outcome. Most people just start working without clear vision. They waste time going in wrong directions. They achieve things that don't matter. But when you begin with the end in mind, you're efficient and effective. You focus on what actually leads to your desired outcome. Habit 3 is put first things first. This is about execution. Habits 1 and 2 are mental, happening in your mind. Habit 3 is physical, happening in your daily actions. It's about actually doing what matters most. Stephen Covey teaches that everything you do can be categorized in 4 quadrants based on 2 factors, urgency and importance. Urgent means it requires immediate attention. Important means it contributes to your mission and values, to what matters most. Quadrant 1 contains things that are both urgent and important. Crises, deadlines, emergency problems. You must deal with Quadrant 1. But if you spend all your time here, you'll burn out. Quadrant 2 contains things that are important, but not urgent. Planning, prevention, relationship, building, exercise, learning, personal development. These things matter tremendously for long-term success, but they don't scream for attention. They can be postponed. And most people postpone them indefinitely. Quadrant 3 contains things that are urgent, but not important. Interruptions. Some phone calls and emails. Other people's minor problems. Many meetings. These things demand attention but don't contribute to your goals. Many people spend huge amounts of time here, feeling busy but accomplishing nothing meaningful. Quadrant 4 contains things that are neither urgent nor important. Time wasters. Excessive TV. Mindless social media scrolling. Trivial activities. These things don't matter at all. Covey says highly effective people spend most of their time in Quadrant 2. They focus on important, but not urgent activities. They plan before crises happen. They prevent problems instead of just fighting fires. They invest in relationships before they're broken. They maintain their health before they're sick. They develop skills before they need them. When you spend time in Quadrant 2, something amazing happens. Quadrant 1 shrinks. You have fewer crises because you prevented them. You have fewer deadlines because you planned ahead. You have fewer emergency problems because you addressed issues early. But most people don't spend time in Quadrant 2. Why? Because it's not urgent. Nothing forces them to do it. So they procrastinate. They say, "I'll exercise tomorrow. I'll call that friend later. I'll work on my goals next week." But tomorrow never comes. They stay stuck in Quadrants 1, 3, and 4. Busy, but not effective. So, how do you put first things first? First, identify your most important activities. What Quadrant 2 activities would have the biggest positive impact on your life? Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's spending time with family. Maybe it's working on a long-term project. Choose your top priorities. Second, schedule them. Put them in your calendar. Treat them like important appointments. Most people schedule Quadrant 1 activities, things with deadlines. But they don't schedule Quadrant 2 activities. So Quadrant 2 never happens. Schedule your exercise time. Schedule your planning time. Schedule your relationship time. Schedule your learning time. Third, protect that time. When someone asks you to do something during your scheduled Quadrant 2 time, say no. Remember, habit 1. Be proactive. You choose your priorities. Don't let other people's urgencies crowd out your important activities. Fourth, learn to delegate. You cannot do everything. Identify tasks that others can do and delegate them. This frees up your time for things only you can do. Many people struggle with delegation because they think it's faster to do it myself. But that's short-term thinking. Training someone else takes time initially but saves time long-term. And it develops them, which is Quadrant 2 activity for them. Covey emphasizes that putting first things first requires saying no to many good things, so you can say yes to the best things. Every yes to something less important is a no to something more important. Choose carefully. Now we move to habits 4, 5, and 6. These are about working effectively with others, about public victory. You've mastered yourself through habits 1, 2, and 3. Now you're ready to work with others effectively. Habit 4 is think win-win. This is about your mindset in relationships and negotiations. Most people think in terms of win-lose. If I win, you lose. If I get what I want, you don't get what you want. Life is competition. Life is a pie with limited slices. If I get a bigger slice, you get a smaller slice. But Stephen Covey says this mindset damages relationships and limits possibilities. He teaches 6 paradigms, 6 ways of thinking about relationships. Win-lose, I win and you lose. Lose-win, I lose and you win. I give in to keep peace. Lose-lose, we both lose. If I can't win, I'll make sure you don't win either. Win, I get what I want and don't care about you. Win-win, we both win. We find solutions that benefit both of us. And win-win or no deal, we find a mutual benefit. Covey says that win-win is the only sustainable paradigm for relationships. Win-lose might work short-term, but eventually, the loser resents you. The relationship breaks. Lose-win might keep peace temporarily, but you build resentment. You feel used. Eventually, you explode or leave. Lose-lose is obviously terrible. Win might work for one-time transactions, but it doesn't build lasting relationships. Win-win is about abundance mentality. Abundance mentality means believing there's enough for everyone. There are plenty of opportunities, plenty of success, plenty of recognition. We don't have to compete. We can cooperate. We can create solutions where we both benefit. Most people have scarcity mentality. They believe success is limited. If you succeed, there's less success available for me. If you get praised, I get less praise. This creates competition, jealousy, and win-lose thinking. But an abundance mentality creates cooperation, celebration of others' success, and win-win thinking. How do you practice win-win thinking? First, in any interaction, seek to understand what the other person wants. What's important to them? What are their needs? What would be a win for them? Second, clearly express what you want. What would be a win for you? Third, work together creatively to find solutions that give both of you what you want. For example, you and your spouse disagree about vacation plans. You want to go to the mountains. Your spouse wants to go to the beach. Win-lose thinking says, "We'll go where I want," and you'll be disappointed. Lose-win thinking says, "Fine, we'll go where you want. I'll be miserable." Win-win thinking asks, "Why do I want mountains? Why do you want the beach?" Maybe you want mountains for hiking and nature. Maybe your spouse wants beach for relaxation and sun. Can you find a place with both? A coastal area with mountains nearby? Or alternate years? Or take 2 shorter trips? Get creative. At work, you want a promotion. Your colleague also wants the same promotion. Win-lose thinking says one of you gets it, the other doesn't. You're enemies. Win-win thinking asks, what do we each really want? Maybe you want the challenge and growth opportunity. Maybe they want the recognition and salary. Can you both get what you want? Maybe there are 2 different roles available. Maybe you can collaborate on a project that showcases both of you. Maybe one person gets this promotion and helps the other get the next one. Think abundantly. Create win-win. Covey says that win-win requires courage and consideration. Courage to express your needs and stand up for what matters to you. Consideration to understand and value the other person's needs. Most people have one or the other. Some people have courage, but no consideration. They become win-lose aggressive. Some have consideration, but no courage. They become lose-win passive. You need both for win-win. Habit 5 is seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is about communication. Most people are terrible communicators. They don't really listen. They wait for their turn to talk. They interrupt. They judge. They give advice before understanding the problem. They prescribe before they diagnose. Covey says, imagine you go to the doctor. Without examining you or asking questions, the doctor says, here's your prescription. Take this medicine. You'd think that doctor was crazy. You'd leave. But this is how most people communicate. They prescribe solutions before understanding the problem. Effective people seek first to understand. They listen with the intent to understand, not with the intent to reply. They listen not just to the words, but to the feelings and meaning behind the words. This is called empathic listening. There are 5 levels of listening. Ignoring, you're not listening at all. Pretending, you're nodding but not really hearing. Selective listening, you hear only parts that interest you. Attentive listening, you hear the words. Empathic listening, you hear the words, the feelings, and the meaning. You understand deeply. Most people listen at level 3 or 4. But empathic listening, level 5, creates trust and opens communication. When people feel truly understood, they open up. They share more. They become less defensive. They're willing to understand you in return. How do you practice empathic listening? First, give full attention. Put away your phone. Stop other activities. Look at the person. Show them they have your complete attention. Second, reflect what you hear. Repeat back what they said in your own words. So what you're saying is, it sounds like you feel. Let me see if I understand. This shows you're listening and gives them a chance to clarify. Third, don't interrupt. Let them finish completely. Don't jump in with your opinion or advice. Just listen. Fourth, try to feel what they feel. Put yourself in their situation. Understand emotionally, not just intellectually. When you seek first to understand, something powerful happens. The other person feels value. They feel heard. They trust you. Now they're ready to hear you. Now when you speak, they actually listen. They're open to understanding your perspective. But if you try to be understood first, before understanding them, they're not ready to hear you. They're defensive. They're still trying to make you understand them. Communication fails. Covey shares an example. A father complains that his teenage son won't listen to him. The father keeps giving advice, but the son ignores it. Covey asks, "Do you understand your son?" The father says, "Of course, I know exactly what his problem is." But Covey points out, "You don't understand him. You just diagnosed him. Have you listened to him? Have you tried to see the world from his perspective?" The father realizes he's been trying to be understood without first understanding. When he changes approach, when he listens empathically to his son, their relationship transforms. This applies everywhere. At work, before you present your idea, understand the concerns and needs of your audience. At home, before you give advice to your spouse, understand what they're really feeling and needing. With friends, before you talk about yourself, understand what's happening in their life. Seek first to understand, always. Habit 6 is synergize. Synergy means the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 + 1 = 3 or more. When people work together effectively, they create results that neither could create alone. They produce something better than either individual idea. Most people think compromise is the best you can achieve. Compromise means both sides give up something. You get part of what you want. I get part of what I want. Neither of us is fully satisfied. That's better than win-lose. But it's not synergy. Synergy is different. Synergy means working together to create a third alternative that's better than either of our original ideas. It requires openness to new possibilities. It requires valuing differences. It requires creative cooperation. Stephen Covey says, synergy is the highest level of communication and cooperation. It's what happens when you truly practice habits 4 and 5. When you think win-win and seek to understand, you create conditions for synergy. You value the other person's perspective. You're open to ideas different from yours. You believe that together, you can create something better. How does synergy work? First, you present your view. Second, the other person presents their view. Third, you both acknowledge that you see things differently. Fourth, instead of arguing about who's right, you ask, can we create something better than either of our ideas? Fifth, you brainstorm together creatively. Sixth, you discover a third alternative that satisfies both of you better than your original idea. For example, a company has 2 departments in conflict. The sales department wants to customize products for each customer. The manufacturing department wants standardization to reduce costs. These seem opposite. Most companies would compromise, some customization, some standardization. Nobody's happy. But with synergy, they might discover a modular system where standardized components can be configured in custom ways. Now sales gets customization and manufacturing gets efficiency. In families, parents and teenagers often conflict. Parents want safety and responsibility. Teenagers want freedom and independence. Compromise might be more rules than the teen wants, but more freedom than the parents are comfortable with. But synergy might create a system where the teen earns freedom by demonstrating responsibility. Clear agreements about behavior, consequences, and rewards. Now, parents feel safe and teens have motivation to be responsible. Both win through synergy. Covey says, synergy requires valuing differences. Most people are threatened by differences. They want others to think like them. But differences are strengths. Different perspectives. Different experiences. Different ideas. When you value differences and combine them creatively, you get synergy. Unity is not uniformity. Unity is leveraging diverse strengths toward common goals. To create synergy, you must be open and vulnerable. You must be willing to say, I don't have all the answers. Let's figure this out together. You must release your ego attachment to being right. You must care more about the best solution than about your solution. Habit 7 is sharpen the saw. This is about renewal. It's about maintaining and improving yourself so you can continue being effective. Covey tells a story about a man sawing down a tree. The saw is dull. The work is slow and exhausting. Someone suggests, why don't you sharpen your saw? The man says, I don't have time. I'm too busy sawing. This is absurd, but this is how many people live. They're too busy working to invest in themselves. Habit 7 says you must regularly renew yourself in 4 dimensions: physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual. These 4 dimensions keep you balanced and effective. Physical renewal means taking care of your body. Exercise, nutrition, sleep, stress, management. Your body is the tool you use for everything. If your body is unhealthy, everything suffers. Many people ignore their physical health because they're too busy. But this is foolish. Your health is your foundation. Without it, nothing else works well. Schedule time for exercise. Choose nutritious food. Get adequate sleep. These are quadrant 2 activities. Social emotional renewal means building and maintaining relationships, spending quality time with loved ones, contributing to others, serving your community. Humans are social beings. Relationships provide meaning, support, and joy. Many people sacrifice relationships for work, then wonder why they feel empty. Invest in relationships. They're what matter most. Mental renewal means learning and growing, reading, taking courses, developing new skills, challenging your mind. Your mind is like a muscle. Use it or lose it. Many people stop learning after formal education. Their minds stagnate. But effective people are continuous learners. They read regularly. They seek new knowledge. They expand their capabilities. Spiritual renewal means connecting to your values and purpose. Prayer, meditation, nature, music, art, whatever connects you to something larger than yourself. This provides meaning and perspective. It renews your motivation and commitment to what matters most. Covey says you must invest time in all 4 dimensions regularly. This is quadrant 2 activity. It's not urgent, but it's essential. If you neglect any dimension, your effectiveness decreases. You become unbalanced. But when you renew yourself in all 4 dimensions, you maintain your ability to be effective. You sustain long-term success. How much time should you invest? Covey suggests at least 1 hour per day for sharpening the saw. Maybe 30 minutes for physical renewal through exercise. Maybe 15 minutes for mental renewal through reading. Maybe 15 minutes for spiritual renewal through meditation or reflection. Social emotional renewal happens throughout the day as you interact with others meaningfully. 1 hour per day sounds like a lot when you're busy. But remember, this investment multiplies your effectiveness. 1 hour of renewal gives you back many hours of increased productivity, energy, and creativity. It's the best investment you can make. Sharpening the saw also creates an upward spiral. When you exercise, you have more energy. When you have more energy, you accomplish more. When you accomplish more, you feel more motivated. When you feel motivated, you invest more in renewal. Each cycle upward. But if you neglect renewal, you create a downward spiral. You get tired. You accomplish less. You feel discouraged. You neglect yourself more. Each cycle down. Choose the upward spiral. Invest in yourself. Sharpen your saw daily. So, my friend, let me summarize these 7 habits for you. Be proactive. Take responsibility for your life. Focus on what you can control. Begin with the end in mind. Define what matters most. Create your personal mission. Put first things first. Focus on important activities. Schedule quadrant 2 time. Think win-win. Seek mutual benefit. Believe in abundance. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Listen empathically before speaking. Synergize. Value differences. Create better solutions together. Sharpen the saw. Renew yourself in all 4 dimensions. These 7 habits work together. Each builds on the others. You can't skip one and expect full effectiveness. They're integrated and synergistic. Practice all 7, and your effectiveness multiplies. I want to challenge you today. Choose one habit to focus on this week. Just one. Maybe you'll work on being more proactive. Maybe you'll create your mission statement. Maybe you'll schedule quadrant 2 time. Maybe you'll practice empathic listening. Choose one and practice it consistently for 7 days. Then add another habit. Then another. Slowly build all 7 into your life. These aren't quick fixes. They're deep character changes. They take time and effort, but they create lasting transformation. They make you truly effective. Thank you for staying with me through this entire episode. You just learned one of the most influential books on personal effectiveness ever written. And you did it in simple English. I'm so proud of you. Remember, effectiveness is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things. It's about achieving what matters while maintaining the capacity to keep achieving. It's about balance, principles, and character. I am Mark, and this is English Unleashed for All. Until next time, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, and sharpen your saw daily. Your effective life is waiting. Goodbye, my friend.